South Korea just committed $1.3 trillion to AI chips, nearly 3 times what the entire United States semiconductor industry was worth a decade ago. Samsung and SK Hynix are leading this charge, and it's about to reshape the global AI race. Here's why this matters. Every AI tool you use depends on semiconductors. The chips powering ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they all come from decisions being made right now. When a country goes all in on AI semiconductors, they're not just building factories. They're fundamentally shifting which nation controls the tools that power artificial intelligence for the next decade. South Korea's bet is simple. AI chips are the new oil. Every major AI company on Earth, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Meta, depends on semiconductors that are getting exponentially harder to manufacture. The companies that master building these chips faster, cheaper, and more powerful will own the future of AI. But here's the strategic genius. South Korea isn't starting from zero. Samsung and SK Hynix already supply memory chips to every major player globally. Now they are saying we're not just the ingredient supplier anymore, we are the entire factory. That's a power move. What makes this a potential inflection point is the scale and speed. South Korea's putting unprecedented resources behind a single goal: make the best AI chips faster than anyone else. And there's definitely going to be global consequences. To understand why this is bold, you need to know what Samsung and SK Hynix do. They are 2 of the planet's foremost important memory chip manufacturers. Memory chips hold data that processors need in real time. If a GPU is the brain, memory is its working intelligence. SK Hynix manufactures about 25% of the world's high-bandwidth memory, the ultra-fast RAM that AI chips like Nvidia's H100 absolutely depend on. Without it, those GPUs don't function. Samsung is bigger, a diversified mega manufacturer making displays, processors, and memory globally. For years, these companies made money supplying ingredients. Nvidia designed GPUs, TSMC manufactured them, Samsung and SK Hynix supplied memory. It worked for everyone except the suppliers, who have been the invisible backbone, watching others capture the value. South Korea's realized something crucial. If you control memory, you control which AI chips work. It's like controlling the blood supply to global AI infrastructure. So they are pivoting from silent supplier to architect. They want next-generation AI chips that don't just provide memory, they integrate processing and memory together in ways nobody's achieved before. This isn't just business strategy. It's geopolitical calculation. Because whoever masters AI chip manufacturing shapes what artificial intelligence can and can't do in the next decade. And South Korea has just decided they want that power. So what exactly are they building? The $1.3 trillion commitment breaks down into 2 initiatives. Samsung is investing $900 billion focused on next-generation chip manufacturing, specifically advanced AI processors that bundle memory and computation together. SK Hynix is committing over $400 billion to high-bandwidth memory technology, the ultra-fast RAM critical for today's advanced AI chips. This scale is extraordinary. That's roughly the entire annual GDP of Denmark. It's more money than every venture capital firm in Silicon Valley invested in AI over the past 5 years combined. South Korea is betting its future on becoming the factory the world depends on. It's not just money, it's specificity. They're building fabs specifically engineered for AI's exact needs right now. Smaller transistors, more bandwidth, better power efficiency, faster processing. It's an engineering arms race. The timeline is aggressive. Some fabs are expected to start production within 2 to 3 years, incredibly fast for semiconductor manufacturing, where building a single factory usually takes 5 to 7 years. They're accelerating because they know what's at stake. The AI boom is happening now. Whoever manufactures AI chips at scale right now owns the next decade. This is the moment where theoretical advantage becomes literal manufacturing capacity. And South Korea isn't waiting around. What chips exactly? One category is AI inference processors, chips that run AI models on real data. Right now, Nvidia dominates. Samsung and SK Hynix are designing alternatives that work more efficiently and cost less. Another is custom memory. HBM, high bandwidth memory, connects processors through a super-fast middleman called an interposer. SK Hynix's investment targets making HBM faster and cheaper, directly threatening Nvidia's supply chain. Samsung's also designing chips that merge processing and memory on one die, fusing CPU and RAM. It's faster, uses less power, more efficient. Most interesting, these aren't Nvidia copies. They're different architectures for different workloads. Some optimized for language models, others for image generation, others for scientific computing. Samsung and SK Hynix offer 5 approaches where Nvidia offers 1. This breaks Nvidia's stranglehold on the market. Right now, advanced AI chips mean Nvidia. In 2 years, you might choose Samsung or SK Hynix depending on what you're building. That's a seismic change. The real winner is competition. When you can actually choose suppliers, the whole industry improves, prices drop, innovation accelerates. Smaller AI companies finally have real options. South Korea isn't just manufacturing chips, they're unblocking the entire global AI economy. And honestly, that's exactly what the world needs right now. To see why South Korea's moving, look at everyone else. The United States allocated $50 billion through the CHIPS Act for semiconductor development. China is investing $200 billion through Made in China 2025. Taiwan still dominates. TSMC makes more chips than everyone combined. But Taiwan's investing in Arizona and Japan to diversify from geopolitical risk. Japan's also investing through semiconductor partnerships. South Korea's targeting a niche. While everyone fights over general manufacturing, South Korea says, we're making the chips that power artificial intelligence. Fastest growing, highest margin segment, not trying to beat TSMC as the world's foundry, saying we own AI chips. That's brilliant. Whoever controls AI chip manufacturing controls AI's future. The United States saw this. China saw this and spent billions. Japan saw this and partnered. South Korea's announcing, we're a major player too. In 10 years, AI chip manufacturing will be shared between America, China, Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. You're watching that supply chain diverge and genuine competition emerge. And that's healthy. When you can choose suppliers, everyone wins, better chips, cheaper prices, faster innovation, and nobody controlling the world's AI. This is the inflection point happening right now. What does this mean? Nvidia loses its stranglehold. Nvidia stays excellent but can't be the only option anymore. When Samsung and SK Hynix ship competitive chips in 2027-2028, customers choose based on performance and price. Nvidia innovates faster, prices drop. Good for everyone. Second, AI becomes cheaper and distributed. Right now, advanced AI training costs millions because Nvidia chips are expensive and dominant. When Samsung and SK Hynix offer competitive alternatives, universities, labs, and startups can finally afford advanced AI training. Development democratizes globally. Third, geopolitical. Multiple chip makers instead of one American player means no country can weaponize the AI supply chain. China can't cut Taiwan off and expect global AI to stop. The United States can't embargo everywhere. Supply chain diversity equals resilience. Fourth, for South Korea itself, this is a massive bet. If it succeeds, South Korea becomes one of 3 most important tech countries alongside America and China. If it fails, they've invested $1.3 trillion in a business where they are 3rd or 4th. They're betting anyway. When a country bets $1.3 trillion on AI chips, they truly believe it's the future. And given South Korea's track record in semiconductors, maybe they are right. How should you monitor this? First, understand that chip manufacturing is slow. Fabs won't mass produce for 2 years. Watch for announcements. When Samsung or SK Hynix announce first AI chips in production with real customers, that's the turning point. Second, follow engineer hiring. Samsung and SK Hynix need thousands of engineers. Recruitment drives and talent migrations signal the investment is real and accelerating. Third, watch partnerships. Samsung and SK Hynix need to prove these chips work in real AI systems. Major company partnerships prove the chips are competitive. Fourth, track trade policy. If the United States restricts Korean chip exports, it affects viability. Open policies favor success. Fifth, stay skeptical. South Korea says production in 2 years. Semiconductor timelines slip. Watch for real progress reports and actual chip demonstrations. Finally, check quarterly earnings calls. Samsung's investor calls will discuss this investment's progress. That's where executives face realistic questioning. This is a years-long story. South Korea's betting on decades of AI chip dominance. Follow engineer migrations, partnership announcements, and actual chip samples appearing publicly. That's how you know whether this $1.3 trillion bet is working out. Here's the big picture. South Korea's investment signals that the chip industry is transforming. Nvidia had a monopoly because nobody could compete. Samsung and SK Hynix are changing that. More importantly, this is where geopolitics and technology converge. Whoever controls AI chips controls how fast the world develops AI. Every major tech nation is investing billions into chip manufacturing. It's about power. What's remarkable is boldness. Putting $1.3 trillion on the table saying, we're going to be one of three most important semiconductor players. That's either brilliant or an expensive gamble. I think South Korea sees what the world's beginning to understand. The AI chip market will soon be bigger than general semiconductors. The AI boom is accelerating. Whoever manufactures the best AI chips becomes one of the world's most important tech nations. That's why they are making this bet. And if I had to guess, they're going to win, not because their engineers are better, but because competition drives innovation and innovation drives progress. The world needs multiple chip manufacturers competing on AI. South Korea just decided to be one. Follow this story. The future of AI development might literally depend on it. And this is the moment it all changes.